Hello, I'm Dr. Howard Hatcher, and I'm the founder of Color Free America. Color free means free from color bias. We're not colorblind, we just refuse to let color blind us.
Hi, I'm Cindy Hatcher. We have two beautiful daughters. They're 21 and 19. We have a beautiful grandson who's 7 months old. And we just really believe that this nation wants to heal, that God has given us a program, Color Free, Crime Free, under Color Free America. And what it is something that unites both law enforcement and community, where we listen one to another and we support each other.
Color Free, Crime Free America is a concept and an organization that we started years ago to address the critical divide that was happening in the United States populace. It's something that was causing great concern because of race, conflicts, riots, death, murder, and I'm particularly moved by color bias because of something that had to do with colors that affected my family very deeply. And it was some traumatic events around colors, around issues regarding race, regarding family. One of the most impacting events of my life, which is part of the impetus and reason that Color Free America has so much driving passion in my life, has to do with the reason my little brother died. He was 27 years of age. A gang member decided to rob him on his birthday, pulled out a gun, shot my little brother in the back of the head, and just terminated his life in an instant. And the same gangs have turf wars. It's red colors, black colors. Are you a Crip? Are you a Blood? Are you a Vato Loco? Are you a Latin King? Are you, and you've got Asian gangs. You've got the White Boys gang. You've got all kinds of different factions that have to do with color. So color free means free from color bias. We're not color blind. We just refuse to let color blind us. And getting that phone call at work saying that your little brother, 27 years of age, was killed by a gang member, the same gang members that draw lines on the ground and say, this is my block. You know, don't come on 7th Street if you don't have the right color of shoes, you don't have the right color of skin. And that's when the insanity and nonsense of having elevation of color above human dignity was more apparent to me. So color free means free from color bias. We don't allow the supremacy of culture, race, ethnic group over any other culture or race. Human dignity means we're centered around those things that we have in common, which is our blood. It's red, and it's the same color. No matter where you go, in whatever country, whatever nation, whatever city, whatever community, everything else is external, but every human has red blood.
And what I love about the Color Free, Crime Free program with Color Free America is that it's remarkable in that it's a comprehensive approach. So we're supporting both law enforcement and the community. So we're not saying that we're only for the community or only for the law enforcement. We're saying we support you both. And it's a very comprehensive approach. And it's a really balanced approach. We're not saying that we don't see injustices on both sides, but we're saying we want to support both sides through this comprehensive approach of color-free, crime-free America.
You know, the first time I was shot at, I was around 11 or 12 or so, I guess, and it was by a black man. He was shooting down the street. My cousin and I were playing in the front yard, and a black man was trying to kill us, teenagers and kids, while we were playing in the front yard. The second time I was shot at, a group of white boys in across town decided that they wanted to call us the N-word, and they, gathered together in a mob, and they shot at us. And so I've experienced what it's like to have human animosity foment and come at you. And I realize that this is a sin problem. This is a sin problem. This is a real issue we've got to get ahead of. And fast forward even beyond that, many situations with law enforcement, as well as in the community, racial situations where it wasn't positive, and I was at the center of it. It wasn't positive. Even Hispanic against black, Asians against black. I saw so many conflicts over the color of skin, and I just really believe that once I said yes to Christ, and Jesus became the center focus of my life, he said, I want you to go to all nations, all ethnos, all ethnic groups, and I want you to share my love. I want you to be a bridge builder, and I want you to start bringing hope where there's division and hatred. I think race relations in America are better than what they were during the Jim Crow era. They're better than they were during the desegregation, white only fountains, black fountains, that type of thing. So race relations are better. Even now, where we're from in Tulsa, Oklahoma, we have a black police chief. 100 years ago, it wouldn't have been possible.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think, on the surface, there's been so much progress, and it's been real progress. However, there are deep biases that our society is still dealing with. And it's those things that we need to have the conversation about. It's those things that we need to be transparent about and share our human dignity and come around the table of brotherhood together and sisterhood together and say, what is it that I've perceived about you or your particular community that is an error? What have I generalized? What have I done that is not appropriate in my life? What have I handed down to my children that is not appropriate, and so that they may be perceiving a certain lens of a community that is not accurate. And so those deep latent biases are what we're all about. Let's get to those things. Let's converse about that, and let's invite one another into our communities together. You can be involved. So if you're part of the community, if you're part of the law enforcement, part of a church or an organization or a business, you can adopt a police station. You can be a part, the law enforcement can be a part of the church activities and the community activities. So when you're adopting a police station, organizations, businesses, churches, you're committing to pray for them. You're committing to be involved with them. You're committing to set up events in your particular region, partner with other organizations, partner with other churches that are like-minded, that say, yes, we want to support our law enforcement. Yes, we want to support our community, and we want to provide opportunity to facilitate and be a bridge for healthy interaction between law enforcement and the community. And so that's what we're doing, is we're standing in the gap. And if you want to stand in the gap with us and help facilitate these healthy interactions, then you can adopt a police station. Your organization, your business, your church, come together, partner with others that want to do the same. Begin it in your region. We are adopting police stations. We're standing with law enforcement. We're standing with the community. We are the bridge builders. We're standing as ministers of reconciliation.
And, one final point here is when you said community supporting law enforcement, and through our program, the law enforcement supports the community.
That's right.
And then they come into an open transparency of law enforcement. So we have a very hard-hitting part of the program that gets down to the bottom line. It gets down to the nitty-gritty. So this isn't a surface, surface love. Let's all can we be friends? No, we really get down to the place where we tackle the issues that divide the populace, and we apply practical answers that unite in a very real and practical way.
That's right. At our church, we had police officers come in, and we allowed the opportunity for our congregation and the community to ask the police officers anything they wanted. Nothing was off bar. And so it was really good to just hear the hearts of the people, the hurts of the people, to say, these are my experiences with law enforcement that have been hurtful. These are the experiences of my family that has been hurtful. And it was a challenge to get through it together, but we got through it together with honesty and truth and transparency one with another. The community got to hear the law enforcement side, how difficult it is for them to have traumas day in and day out that affect both themselves, their family, their comrades, all that are living with them, and they're dealing with it day in and day out. Why? Because they're supporting us as a community. When we have our worst times, we're calling our law enforcement, and we're needing and expecting them to help. And they do it willingly. They're signing up willingly, but they are incurring traumas. And so it was good for us as a community to hear what they go through on a daily basis, what their family goes through on a daily basis that I don't think that we often even consider, really. And it was also very healthy for law enforcement to hear from the community and say, listen, when you pull me over, I'm scared. I'm nervous. I don't have any reason to be, but that badge makes me nervous. I know that you have a lot of authority. And then, of course, the experiences that some of my loved ones have been through, or I myself have been through with law enforcement that has been painful, and speak to that. And that's exactly what happened. And it was a good time of healing. It was a good time of connection. It was a deep time together in communion, one with another. It was just a healthy, healthy place.
Let me share a really cool success story about Color Free in the early days when we first started it 30 years ago, so early 90s. The governor of Kansas heard about what we were doing, and she brought her whole staff in to Mid-Continent Airport, and I addressed the whole staff with ideas that could unite schools, unite community with city government, education, and the community and the business community uniting all together. And so through the president of the Board of Education and through the governor and through our mayor, we were able to take 430 students in a pilot program that lasted 6 weeks. And we were able to unite all of these diverse backgrounds of students. We were able to accomplish that in a week, and we were able to get the city on board. And that was a powerful thing, get the city on board. And then we had, as a kicker, we had great incentives for all of these young people doing things together with one another that they had never done. And it was very powerful to see kindergartners through 12th grade all coming together and forgetting about the things that divide, that come out of cultural biases, and they begin to find reasons to work together. And they found out that they were stronger together, and they actually wanted to work together, which is, I believe, our nation wants to heal. And it also helps to overturn a stigma that says it's us against them. We've got to get ahead of that. It's not us against them.
Right.
Our children aren't going to have much if we don't get together. And, you know, it reminds me of South Africa. When I went to South Africa, I was given a city of 300,000 people to apply the color-free, crime-free program. So we were able to unite the city government with the schools, with the businesses, with the churches and civic leaders all together in South Africa. And I'll tell you what, it was so impacting to see thousands upon thousands of people impacted through a city and through the nation through the Color Free America program. And I think one of the biggest takeaways for me is that during their first election, Nelson Mandela had spent 27 years in prison. He gets out, they're going to have an election. And it was at that time the whites began to kill blacks, the blacks began to kill whites, the Africans, the coloreds, that's what they're called. Children of white and black are called the coloreds. So the whites, blacks, coloreds, Afrikaans, and the tribals, they were killing each other. It was a bloodbath over there. So they brought me over to bring unity in a trial city of 300,000 people. The most incredible thing happened, as you saw, cultural barriers, blood covenants of death that where people's biases ran so deep to a point where it was to death. You saw that fade away and that whole city get united across denominational lines, across religious lines, Catholic, Protestant, education, city government, business. It was powerful.
So you want to get involved with Color Free America. There are so many ways to support us. One is you can go to colorfreeamerica.com. There's a lot of information on there. There's ways that you can give and support with us. Also support with the YouTube as well as the Facebook. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends. Become part of the movement. If you are a leader in your organization, if you own a business, if you are a pastor or a leader in your church, start to share the word, give the vision, and implement Color-Free America in your region, where you want to support law enforcement and community, where you want to be a bridge builder. You're standing in the gap, facilitating healthy interaction between both and supporting each other.